Hey guys, this is Vol, and today I was back at the South Auckland Wargaming Club, where I played two separate games against two separate Empire players, myself of course being Tomb Kings. Now, unfortunately I wasn't very diligent in taking photos today, so the battle reports will be quite incomplete, unfortunately. But I'll still do my best. As you can see here, using some of my custom terrain and some borrowed terrain, as well as we've got a green sheet draped across the table. Tomb King's deploying over here with the chariots, just the raw, naked group of 3 chariots on the left, with archers in front of the forest, a Hierophant inside the forest to prevent him from being shot at. The Casket of Souls on the hill next to the catapults, and my brand new unit of Tomb Guard in the middle. With the King in the Tomb Guard, and then there's a unit of 10 horsemen, not such a great unit, but trying to go for a sort of friendly comp modifier points for the tournaments with that group. Then there's the unit of chariots with the Prince next to them and the Carrion over the far side. I'm going to switch to the next photo to show you a better view of the... this is a much better picture of the Empire deployment too. Empire don't have anything on the far right flank, that's just been ignored. On the left hand side you can see the cannon, and that's his only piece of machinery apart from the big steam tank in the middle. I should point out that we're using little coins to represent where the Scorpions are tunneling. So there is a coin next in front of the Outriders on the left, next to the cannon. Underneath the cannon, you can't see it, but I've placed a separate counter underneath the cannon where I'm using my Tomb Swarm. This is going to be the debut, first appearance, trial run of the Tomb Swarm that I've just put together. I've actually scratch built it from remains from my sprues, from my leftover Tomb King sprues with just like spare parts and things. It's looking kind of funny. But let's check out the deployment. By the way, the other Scorpion is on the far right-hand side next to the other Pistoliers. So from left to right, we've got the cannon, the Outriders, the big unit of Spearmen with a unit of Halberders in front detachment, 2 units of handgunners on the hill with a level 2 mage in each pool. We've got the great swords unfortunately deployed behind the steam tank. My opponent unfortunately made a mistake as he was complaining about having to deploy them last and having nowhere good to put them. Then there's the another group of swordsmen, I think it is, next to them with some archers in front of them as a detachment. Pistoliers on the far right hand side. I'm going to switch to the next photo. We can see a bit of a better overview here. You can also see that gold coin in front of the Pistoliers on the far right hand side where the Scorpion's going to tunnel up. And just sort of an overview of the battlefield as to sort of what's going to be happening. Tomb Kings win the first turn, so very stoked about that. Now, one thing I'm trialing for this game is Cloak of Dunes on the King instead of the Hierophant, and after today's results, I've got to say that I'm satisfied with it. I'm going to be using it more often in the future. The reason why is that if you play well enough, and I am starting to sort of figure out how to do so, you don't need the Cloak of Dunes to protect the Hierophant. You can still use his magic and be intelligent with the way you move him. However, the King has got a much shorter range on his spells. He can fight as well as cast spells on the missile troops, so it's a much more sensible choice to give him the Cloak, and you can give it in combination with the Destroyer of Eternity, so you've still got that massive weapon, really powerful weapon, and that's what's happened. So the chariots and horsemen are advancing on the right-hand side. The King sneakily flies behind that bit of terrain there, just covertly hanging out there. I'm just going to flip to the next picture so you can see him a bit with the little dice propping up the terrain there, and he's used Urgency, the incantation, to allow the Carrion to charge the cannon. That's what's happening in the background. So that's what happened Tomb King turn 1, and on the previous side, everybody's just shooting. Casket of Souls went off amazingly and killed a bunch of dudes. Nothing serious happened, but I did manage to weather down a few units right off the cuff. So that's the way I love to play it. Don't forget Casket of Souls, -1 to enemy casting when doing their spells. So that's another plus for having the casket. Next photo, the Empire were getting their turn on the left-hand side, just advancing a little bit, sending forth the steam tank full charge, and the Pistoliers out of the midfield. The Pistoliers just got taken out a little bit by the archers over here. And the far right-hand side, people are moving in. The Carrion have chased away the crew. And nothing too big happening in the first couple of turns here, so I'm just going to go straight to the next photo. By the way, the Screamer Skull Catapult's trying to rattle on the tank, but not quite getting it. So next photo gives you a better view of the charges going on here. The chariots just start smashing into the Empire during turn 2. So the charges over the left-hand side charges his swordsmen. I get flanked by the archers as a detachment, and don't quite break them. So I'm in real trouble here because I didn't quite wipe them out, and now I'm going to have to be up against combat res. So just, yeah, the chariots not quite making it, and I think it has to do with the way that I'm playing them, the way that I'm equipping them. Also on the right-hand side, I got shot at a lot by handgunners and by stand and shoot detachments when I charged that unit of spearmen, so I didn't quite polish them off either. Left with the prince there. Although the Tomb Swarm has popped up. The Tomb Swarm scattered too far to charge, and it's just hanging out in the background. We've got a Scorpion popping up over in the background as well, which are chasing some dudes around the table, and he's just hanging out there. He got shot at by a mage spell but survived. And the little dice that's sitting on top of that steam tank indicates it's taken a hit from the Screaming Skull catapult. Managed to get through its armor, but only rolled a 1 for the amount of wounds. It could have been 6 wounds, but instead it was a 1. And Pistoliers have been reduced to 1 guy. By the way, that's an Arch-Lector in the middle of the field with the great swords. Arch-Lector being a great hero for the Empire, and he's hanging out. He's using the Vulcan model to represent it. Next picture, you can see a bit more detail what's going on over here. The swarm, as you can see, the swarm is just made up from some gravel and some dead remains from skeletons, plus a spear.